Productive Dentist Academy Podcast Network.
Doctor, before you end the year, before you hang up the handpiece and sign out for your beautiful, glorious holiday break with hopefully your loved ones and family, Dr. Chad Johnson, Dr. Maggie Augustin, and I want to give you something you can do quickly and efficiently so that your 2026 is set up for success. Dr.
That's right.
Maggie, nice to hear you today.
Oh, hello, everybody. Good to be here.
Chad, you're getting your woos in. Hello.
That's right. Hey.
We all wanted to come together and talk about end of year planning. It's something that we know you do. We know you all do. But I thought it would be really fascinating to get into Chad and Maggie's practices and see what they focus on. I don't think we need anything super comprehensive here, but quickly, top 2 things that you guys would do or plan to do or already have done to prepare for 2026. Chad, rapid fire. I'm gonna hit you first.
Point number 0. You just said doo-doo. That was fun. All right. So I know. First thing, planning your calendar. To me, it's we're already scheduling our recares into May and perhaps June of this next year. And some people might be like, shoot, I'm out 10 months. Good for you. But, everyone's at least 6 months out, planning people's 6 weeks in 1 week or 6 months in 1 week or something like that. So you're out of ways and you need to figure out, are you going to block off summertime? This is not oh man, I'd never thought of that before. This is something, but it's something that you need to think about. How many days are you intentionally going to be at work? And what are your goals for that year? Are you, hoping to do $1 million and work 200 days? We'll divide that out and you need, your $5,000 days or, stuff like that to be able to make that work. So you just have to do that math and figure out, are you going to make that work with the amount of days that you're going to be working, or do you need to change your budget accordingly? So that's my first one, calendar planning.
Okay, so for calendar planning, do you, I'm assuming you do digital, maybe a Google Calendar planning, but do you also have a big annual calendar on your wall? Like PDA
Yes.
clients have
Yes.
requested that year after year for the
Yes.
big one. So you do?
Yes.
Where do you put it, in like your break room or your office?
Yeah, but I don't leave it up forever. I plan it while I'm visualizing that, for continued ed, for vacation time, anything like that.
Maggie, do you have a calendar that you do? I'm assuming you pre-plan also. Is that the case, or do you
I
do it quarterly?
Yeah, no, and nothing physical. Everything is kind of on my Google Calendar, and whomever needs to have the ability to get on there to see where I'm at when I'm at has that.
Yeah. That's what I
But it-
eventually
it-
go to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be helpful to actually visualize the whole year, month by month by
Yeah.
month, to see kind of especially when you have multiple doctors or multiple
Yes.
providers, I should say, that is probably very helpful. Like, hey, which week can I and shouldn't I take off so that the practice can continue generating an income if one is gone?
At Productive Dentist Academy, we've helped thousands of private practice owners find the clarity inside their data and take control again, starting with a free 60-minute coaching session. Head over to investmentgradepractice.com right now before the next patient sits down to claim your free 60-minute coaching session. That's investmentgradepractice.com. There was a study that just came out that humans are indeed perceiving time differently post-COVID, and that things are going faster. And I was just thinking, this year I've got the space right here that you can't see. Then I thought I should have my annual there because I've got graduations coming up. I have spring break coming up, for the kids. I've got places I'm going to speak. I have girls' trips. I have anniversary trips. Like all of those things stack up. And I thought it would be really fascinating since the months seem to be going by quicker and quicker, not even just to have the calendar that has the month up, but something tangible that I can see other than my desktop.
Yep.
Do you have all your CE planned out also?
Personally, I do because I like in January, I'm going to my last COIS course. And that should land me, 25 hours? I think that's right, of continued. It's 3 days, so that's not right. It must be 30 hours. It's just a hunk of big hunk
Is
of
it a week? Because I mean, like that.
no, this last
It's
it's
just
normally like 3 days
Mhm.
or 5 days or 6 days, depending on, if you're doing a double course at a time and stuff. This one is just 3 days. And so it'll be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I mean, yeah, 10 hours, 10 hours. And
Yeah,
I
at
think they
least
round
30
up 10
hours.
hours. It's 30 hours.
Yeah.
And so shoot, I'm practically done for 2 years starting in January.
Yeah,
Uh
but come on, you don't do it for the hours, right? Like it
no, exactly. But I'm just talking, average dentist kind of thoughts. Yes, I have it planned out, but I don't have like next October ideas planned out,
Okay.
so have I in the past? Yes. Maggie, how about you?
I've got a good amount of my next year planned out, but problem with me is that when I don't go to CE, I get itchy. So like yesterday, I felt really empty and I just did a 6-hour course on surgery just
Yep.
yesterday. Like I just get really itchy. And so then I bought another one through Osteocom for 9 hours for periodontal surgery. I just get really itchy. I have to do this. So like I might have my year planned out, but I will add things.
Mhm.
Um yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Chad, number 2.
Doing to me, like, going through this is a nerdy one, so I wish it was a half one. We'll see if we have enough time. Going through your expenditures and reviewing, and Productive Dentist Academy doesn't talk about that because a lot of times their supply side, just out produce the problem. And that's okay. I'm not saying it's bad, but like when I'm oversimplifying, a lot of times it's not, well, get into the weeds of trying to find cheaper cotton rolls. That's not what I'm talking about, but it is kind of an idea of going through and reviewing your expenditures and figuring out on your budget, are you getting paid as a business owner and a dentist? Because you should get paid as both. And um Profit first is a great system to think about doing if you're wanting to, mentally assent to the idea that you should be getting paid as a business owner when you're working on the business. And if you're 100% shareholder or 50%, whatever, if you have, a certain stake in the office, shouldn't you having shares of that corporation be getting paid dividends on that at some point? Or shouldn't there be a growth in the value of those? And are you assessing that? So, whether you're reviewing your accounts receivable, adjusting your fees, which goes to the calendar planning. But that would be my second idea is, making sure uh to go through and figure out, are there any monthly subscriptions that you could get rid of? Things like that.
Yeah, and I like that a lot. So we do this every month with our accountant, and if you're looking for a good accountant, email me at drmaggie@myhappytooth.com. But here's what I want to tell you. So recently, this is exactly what we did, and I don't know if you noticed, health insurance keeps going up. So our health insurance last year jumped 18%. This year, it jumped
Right.
12%. We are pretty
It only
heavy
jumped
in
12% this year. You're
it.
lucky.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I've heard much worse
Yeah.
horror stories. But so we are very like, our benefit package for employees is really significant, but
Uh-huh.
we've taken a big hit this year. This year just has not been very good for us, and so one of the decisions that we're facing right now is restructuring how we pay for health insurance for our
Uh-huh.
employees. And so this is really like this sucks, right? Because the younger employees, they'll still get maybe a 50% benefits, but the older employees, people like me, where like my health insurance is $1,400 a month,
Yeah.
uh, they're going to get a lower benefit. And at some point, like someone said, well, maybe that's ageism. Well, it isn't, because in Illinois, you can charge according to age for your health insurance. So then you can just give your employees a gift card towards health insurance as opposed to saying paying 50%. Because then the person that does gets health insurance, they get a raise of 12% that year, right,
Yeah.
on that money. And then the other people that don't get health insurance, they don't. So all of that is just commingled. But again, allowing yourself to look at the expenses and see really where there has been disproportionate increase in them is something that we also look at.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, Maggie, let's go to your top 2 things.
Um, for me, one of the things that I struggle with, and this is like this European communist view of watching everybody around me make mistakes, and then not this is significantly changed, and not really taking responsibility or pretending like the mistakes that I'm making just they vanish. They're like, oh, I'm the doctor, I can make the mistakes, but you guys can't. So that has been a shift over the last many years, probably the last decades in my practice, where I really just take significant accountability for the mistakes that I make. And so this not this Halloween, this Thanksgiving, the thing that I was most grateful for that I told my team is that, yeah, I keep effing up and you guys keep forgiving me. So for this
Mm.
year, one of the things that, and we have this all the time, right? In our minds, we are constantly trying to figure out where to go with our practice. And it doesn't have to be a year end thing. It could,
Mhm.
because like every day we have an opportunity to be new. This does not have to be a year end thing. But for me, I just write down some of the ways that I want my practice to change. So for example, for this year, I'd like to really get involved in lip artistry,
Mhm.
and TMJ, and migraine treatment with Botox. I find that fascinated as a migraine sufferer myself. I took the certification courses. I really want to heavily implement that. I want to do more surgery. Um, Shoot, what was my third thing? Well, you can kind of imagine. So you kind of make, oh, we want to start billing medical. So you kind of make a robust list of the big changes that you want to make. Okay. And then the thing that I need to work on myself and that like is really, how do I hold myself accountable for the changes that I want to see in others? Right. So if I talk about comprehensive care and talking to patients about migraines, and things like that, that is something that I need to start doing. I can't just rely on my team to do that. So I make a list of the things that I am going to be accountable for as I'm creating these changes so that they can witness my evolution. Um, and that's not always easy. It's far easier to come to work and say, okay, y'all are going to make these changes so that it's easier for me to implement my
Mhm.
changes, as opposed to heading to the front, almost like that bird that flies in a V, and like, okay, well, let me show you that I can do this first so that it's easier for you. So it's just kind of
Mm.
like a different approach that I have decided to do. So making a list, and then I know this is like super old school, okay, and like laminating a 3x5 card of, these are the 5 things that I'm holding myself accountable for every day, and it's right here on my desk and it doesn't get moved, so I can look at it every single day.
Do you do that now, or that's what you're going to do for 2026?
No, so I've always done that with my team. They have like these laminated 3x5 cards, but I'm doing the laminated 3x5 card for myself this year. I've never done that.
And that's to hold yourself accountable.
Like, you can make a screensaver if you want to, right? It just has to be somewhere where you just have to see it all the time. So if
Oh,
you
no, I
don't do
love
it,
the idea of like making a laminated card. That's an effort. Like, that takes effort.
yeah,
You have to
that
really
does.
care. Do you, uh, how can you come up with things that go on that list? Like, how do you determine what goes on that list?
So for me, it's just things that I want to change, but I don't always remember to do. You know, like having a conversation with I think Wade Kiefer does something similar, like where he just has a list of things that he talks to every single patient and tells their assistant to take notes on, right? So, hey, have I talked to you about reviews, referrals, surgery needs? Hey, have I talked to you about lip artistry? Hey, have I talked to you about migraines? Hey, have we talked about medical billing in our practice? Hey, have I asked you to, leave or ask another friend of yours to come see us? Like, just making 5 things to make sure that I ask every patient. That's an example of what I might put
Yeah.
in that card.
So in this example for 2026, your laminated card that will sit on your desk will be accountability, things to keep you accountable so that when you focus on lips, that becomes a reality. When you focus on medical billing, that becomes a reality. So it's a cheat sheet, if you will, or it's a reinforcement sheet to keep you on the tracks so that you can execute your bigger vision.
Yeah, and if I struggled with, like, let's say sending cases out, let's say I forgot to constantly send cases out, that would be on my list. Make sure every morning when you come in or before you leave, whatever, when you want to pick, all the cases are sent out. So whatever it is that you want to hold yourself accountable for that year that you've struggled with, perhaps the year prior, is what I am going that's what I would put on the list. Now, it can't be 12 though, right? It's
No.
gotta be and you can change it the following quarter. Like, if these have become part of my everyday, every moment of the day realities, where I do talk to my patients about medical billing and Botox and lip artistry, okay, if that's like part of my character now, then the following 3 months, I make a different list. laminated.
I think that's absolutely fascinating. To write something down that requires you to be accountable, also in order to do that, you have to be somewhat self-aware. Where do you think that you are naturally a self-aware person, or is that something that you had to learn in order to get to that place?
I have a lot of I have a lot of really great people in my life calling BS out on me.
So you feel
So,
you were open to receiving feedback
mhm,
and then you take that into account.
yeah, because you can't always see yourself accurately. You really can't,
No.
No.
right?
No,
That
I think it's
yeah.
one of the hardest things to do, and I think it's getting harder
Mhm.
every day, especially with AI. If you use a chatbot of any kind, it can well, it's always puffing you up, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
always, "Oh my gosh, that's
Excellent
such a
question.
great question. You're so
Yeah, yeah.
inquisitive." So I think the danger zone of us becoming less self-aware is very prevalent. So I think that's fascinating. So in my assumption, then you've talked to your team, people in your team that you
Mhm.
trust, in addition to your community, to help you see some of your blind spots that might be preventing you from getting to go where you're gonna wanna go.
Yes. And sometimes it's people that have nothing to do with work, right? Like if I tell a story about what's happening at work to my husband, he'll call BS out on me from a blind spot that they might not see at work.
Of all of those things, that you guys just shared, thank you for the simple everyday trick that somebody could do. Boil it down and give me your one takeaway. What is the if you did nothing else but this one thing, what would you do, Chad, to make your
Uh,
2026 a great year?
I'm gonna break your rules. I'm gonna say number one, it's accountability because that's the overarching theme.
Mhm.
But number two is whatever your goals are, it relates to this with your accountability. Make them SMART goals. And when we talk about SMART goals, it's actually an acronym. So if you've ever heard
Mhm.
people say SMART goals before, maybe you miss the fact that the SMART goals means that it's specific, that it's measurable, that it's attainable, that it's relevant and timely. So, as you're looking at the acrostic of a SMART, SMART, are you keeping everything doable? Because if it's like, well, this next year we're going to do $1 trillion worth of dentistry, it's just like, okay, well, that's not smart. That's dumb. And because there's no way that you're going to get that done. If so, if you're out there and you get that done, I remember I've always been your best friend and we need to go on a vacation together. I was wrong about you and I apologize. But to everyone else, you can't do that. You have to grow at a certain rate. So, um, accountability and then also make your goals, let's just say attainable, you know.
Maggie, how about you?
I'm gonna go on the opposite side of the spectrum and talk about feelings because
Aw.
big surprise there. So I met with one of the people that we all know, and his name is Kyle Francis, and he evaluates your practice for a potential sale. And I got on a call with him, and he's like, well, your practice has lost some worth, right? And he said, and then he said, but Maggie, this I've never heard you say how happy, like you just cannot stop talking about how happy you are. And so I think zoom out before you zoom in. Uh, we did. We did not have a great year, and I certainly lost a ton of potential. Made a lot less money, took home a lot less money. But I think my team would also tell you that I have been the best boss this year that I have ever been. I've been more compassionate, more kind. Um, and so I think when I make my next year, I'm less likely to look at smart goals the numbers of it. I think I may just also lead with this is a sensation that I had last year. Okay, given the money wasn't great, but you know what? How do I have more years that they feel like I've been happy to be alive? And so yeah, maybe you can maybe you can smart goal that. I don't know, maybe you probably could if you sit down long enough to kind of zoom out and then you zoom in to see how you want to move forward.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think this is enormously helpful. I love the thought of zooming out before you zoom in. For me, I know focusing on the why I'm doing what I'm doing is going to be my area to focus on because there's growth for growth's sake is not always the best
Mhm.
recipe for success. And I think it's hard to see in the moment. And that's why zooming out is so important. And I think, to Chad's testament, if your goals aren't attainable, if they're not really, set out with intention and they're not smart, to the acronym's point, your likelihood of succeeding is drastically reduced. But not only that, it tanks more than what's on paper. I think it tanks your morale. And so I think these are kind of silent killers that build up. So I appreciate your insights, because there's some really quick, tangible things that Doctor You listening can take advantage of. I would say, take these seriously. Don't take them lightly, and find some time. Force yourself to have some quiet time before 2026 and get away from your family, get away from everything. Go, I don't know, go stay at a La Quinta Inn for a night and be with yourself and really, really reflect on the kind of year that you want to have, and use these tools.
That's right.
Highly recommended.
Well, thanks you guys for another fantastic episode. Listeners,
That's right.
if you appreciate what you hear, we would love it if you would leave a review. We're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube, and if you have any feedback, email Regan, Regan, at productivedentist.com.
That's right.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Hey, thanks for joining us on Everyday Practices Dental Podcast. It would mean the world to me if you could leave us a like or a review on iTunes, or go to Productive Dentist Academy through Google and leave us a review there. We are here each week to talk about what's possible when you lead your practice with clarity and courage. If you are ready to build a business that supports your life and not the other way around, investment-grade practice coaching powered by Productive Dentist Academy can help. Visit investmentgradepractice.com to schedule your free 60-minute coaching session so you can start designing the practice and lifestyle you've been dreaming about all along. Or have something personal to share with myself or one of our hosts, you can email us at podcast@productivedentist.com. We'll see you next week.